It's the Dynamite Show. I'm Jeff Hawkins, here as always with my co-host Paul Fontaine. Paul, what did you think of Revolution? I'll see you in 30.
It's not going to be 30. There goes Jeff. I enjoyed the show. It was, you know what? Like, some people are calling it the best AEW pay-per-view of all time. And the funny thing is, my immediate reaction was like, no way.
Hold on, let me give context for the joke.
Okay.
I did the pre-show with the Power Bombshells. And then later that day, I did another almost 2-hour show with Garrett and Kevin Ely and Jeremy Feinstone.
Yes, you did.
And throughout that entire time, you know who was live annotating that chat? Paul Fontaine.
Yes, I was.
So now, Paul, your chance for a rebuttal of anything you saw on that show as well. But please, I want to hear your thoughts on Revolution, because I might I've had some time to digest. So I might
me
have
too.
some other thoughts.
Me too. Well, the thing is, so what happened was, after the show, I knew you guys were doing the post show, and as far as I knew, it was just you and Garrett. So I looked, I pulled up on my phone and I looked, and it looked like it was just the two of you, but I guess it was just showing me the start of the show or something. So I sent Garrett a message and I said, "Hey, do you want some company?" I said, I got time, I can join in. I don't know how much longer you guys are going to go. I think it was about an hour in. And then I go, and he didn't answer me. And then I go and I pull up the thing, and now I see all four of you. And I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. You got a full house. So whatever, I'll watch it and I'll join in. And you guys had a good show. Best post pay-per-view after show. It was great. For this show. No, not even close. So anyways, we'll get to today, but I want to talk about Revolution. So so before I had even finished watching the show, I'm getting text messages, from my buddy, I think you know him too, Adine, listener to the show, and he's telling me, I guess he was listening to the Brian Alvarez and Vinny show, and Brian's calling it the best show ever for AEW, and I'm like, I hadn't seen the co-main, like the 4-way or the main event. I'd seen Ospreay Takeshita. And I'm like, well, these last two matches are going to have to be pretty great to say that. And I'm like, I don't know. And then when the show was over, I'm like, maybe it's like the 4th best of all time. And I said Double or Nothing, the original one. I was there live. It was just a special moment. I was in tears at times. I thought it was just a great show. More of a live experience. The All Out 2021, where you had, Punk's first match, you had Cole debuting, you had Danielson debuting.
That's generally the consensus.
Yeah, that one. And then a lot of people say Revolution last year. I was there live. For whatever reason, I didn't enjoy it as much as most people did. I think it probably had a lot to do with jet lag. I've never watched it back. So,
some of these shows, here's where I will stop you for a second in your consideration. Yeah. Some of these shows, the top was much better than this show.
Yes.
But I think if you're looking top to bottom in terms of, was there a lot of dead weight on this show? Not really. And I think that might be,
depends how you feel about that 4-way.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like it. And I didn't like the women's match very much. And then there was one other one that I thought was
the Scramble
the Scramble was terrible. The Scramble. Yeah. No, I like the 4-way. It was the Scramble. I said, it depends how you feel about the Scramble.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I didn't like the Scramble, and I didn't like the women's match. And then there's one other match that I thought was a bit of a letdown. I can't remember which one. But what I'm going to say is, so I said 4th best on Sunday, and then the other one I really liked was Forbidden Door 2.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned that.
But with some consideration and with some thinking about the main event specifically, and the very special way they sent Sting out, and the match that they had, and a lot of people are going to think, I'm going to hate Darby's stunt, because I'm one of these guys that just, I'm always putting down hardcore wrestling and everything like that. Darby's stunt was great, and the fact that he didn't get hurt makes it even better. I don't know how, but he only had 12 stitches and whatever. So yeah, Dave said, to be fair, 4th is still pretty great. And with AEW's history, absolutely. But I'm going to say now it might be 2nd. Okay. I still think it's hard to beat that All Out 2021, because it's not just the matches. it's the combination of the matches and the moments.
It felt like a new beginning for AEW, didn't it? Right afterwards, I remember really gushing about, you had Regal and you had
Oh, you mean you're 2021? Yeah, for sure, yeah. That definitely felt. I mean, it felt like they were going to take over WWE. Honestly, at that point, I mean, everyone loved Punk, and including me. And you had Cole, and I mean, I remember thinking as a WWE guy, it's like, man, they lost Danielson, they lost Cole.
Yeah.
The Suzuki showed up out of nowhere. Ruby Soho got this amazing reaction.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets that. At the time that felt big. And it was like, man, Ruby Soho has been languishing in
Can't
WWE.
wait to see her properly used in a company.
You know what? For a few months, they did good.
Yeah, they did all right.
And she had that great song, and they decided to turn her heel and take it away. Although I imagine the next time we see her, she's probably gonna have the song again. But yeah. So, anyways, I think with the Sting thing puts this one right near the top for me, because that freaking opening that they did, like, oh my god, like with him, watching the movie, and like the entrance with the boys, the men, his kids, and then Sting coming out, and the Metallica music, and then just the match itself, and with the kids out there doing spots, and I mean, it was just great. I mean, I couldn't have imagined a better send off for Sting, honestly. And then, of course, he wins, which I'm sure he didn't want to. I shouldn't say I'm sure. I suspect he probably didn't want to, but I'm glad that they talked him out of it. Yeah, I'm going to get to these questions about Ospreay Fletcher. I'm just amazed. I will say, I did not like Ospreay Takeshita as much as most people.
Okay.
The reason being is that it was a cold match. I hated the storyline. Like Don Callis says, he's just going to put two of his stablemates out there to try and have the match.
Very interesting you say that, because this is how I'm kind of feeling about Ospreay Fletcher, but continue.
Well, and the funny thing is, this is going to sound completely hypocritical. I liked Ospreay Fletcher better than Ospreay Takeshita, because now it's a story. And I think the next time we're going to see Ospreay is going to be against Hobbs.
Probably. Well, I hope so, but they just teased Danielson, so.
Well, they teased, because that'll probably be either Dynasty or maybe even Double or Nothing.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope it's Double or Nothing, because I think I'll be there live. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I hope is that Ospreay's body holds out. Although tonight was, like a much safer match than Sunday, and I thought it was a better match. So
okay, we'll talk about it when we get.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about this. Yeah, and Matt says that Revolution 2023 is his favorite of all time. A lot of people think that. Again, I'd probably have to watch it back, and I think watching it back isn't going to be the same. But I will say, I don't know how many people know this, and we got a lot more people watching than usual today. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, click on that subscribe button.
Yes.
And if you're listening, make sure to sign up for the Fight Game Media free feed, because we've got lots of great shows. And if you sign up for this, you'll get notifications about new shows. Scott Edwards is going to be doing a show tomorrow previewing the 5-star Grand Prix for Stardom. So that's, their biggest tournament of the year. You want to check that out. I don't know. I know he's doing a Stardom preview tomorrow anyways. I should probably have checked what he's doing. But anyways, what was I saying? About Revolution. Yeah. So I had gone to UFC the night before, and then I did a red eye from
I remember this
Vegas to San Francisco. And then I was up all day in San Francisco. I was doing a lot of walking. You ever been to San Francisco? There's a lot of hills. I was freaking dog tired watching that show. So that probably has something to do with it. And another one,
there's a lot of prisoner of the moment takes late Sunday. That was the best pay-per-view ever.
But the funny thing is my take improved. So I'm like the one, who probably that Iron match, Matt. I love that Iron Man match. It wasn't the Iron Man match. I didn't like the finish to Hangman and Mox. It was confusing live, because I couldn't understand why he was submitting or he was out, because they said it was only knockout. So that's why I kind of didn't understand that match.
See, that was the one quibble I had about this show, was when Excalibur went into the telling the story that wasn't told during the match about Hangman and Swerve, which is something I wanted. It's like I wanted Hangman to just absolutely screw Swerve over in the match.
You know what they missed? Okay, you know what they missed? I figured this out yesterday.
Okay.
remember all of Joe's matches leading up to this? Joe was putting on the clutch, and then they would check the arms, and they would do 1, they would do 2. Sometimes the guy would not go up at 3, or sometimes it would drop 3 and the match was over. This time, he puts the hold on. The ref doesn't even get a chance to do the 3 count. Hangman immediately taps. Hangman screwed over Swerve deliberately.
But like,
there's no ambiguity. But the announcers didn't tell the story properly.
No. Yeah, well, the announcers told the story after the match happened.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, okay, that doesn't fly with me. I get what you were doing,
but they should have pointed it out.
It was show, don't tell, and they didn't show it all that well
because before the ref even got a chance, he's tapping right away, and it's like, come on, man, he's not going to tap that quickly. He knew.
Man, that Sting thing though, I'm still disappointed in both TNA and WWE if they were asked for footage that they did not provide it.
Apparently they weren't. Is what I heard. I don't know.
Okay, so Tony just decided not to even ask. So maybe I can't. Okay, so I can't hold that against him.
I don't know,
or against the companies.
But you know what?
They should have volunteered it. To be honest with you, hey, do you guys want some
footage they had was great.
No, yeah, it was all the Japanese stuff, which was
cool. Props to WWE, by the way, for allowing
mentioning
Michael
him on
Cole
and
Pat McAfee.
He
says that match was epic.
All right, back to the match.
Cole's like, shut up.
I was a little surprised at the amount of backlash at Darby over the glass spot.
Really? Okay. I mean, it's Darby.
Only I'll tell you why. From a fan safety point of view, that one.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Sugar glass can be a little bit dangerous when it's broken and stuff like that.
Was it sugar glass? I thought it was real.
No, it was sugar glass. It had to be.
Oh.
Real glass.
Somebody told me it was real and it was a shot at CM Punk.
Real glass doesn't break like that.
I really hope that wasn't a shot at CM Punk. I hope they're not that stupid.
They might have.
Yeah. We use real glass.
I actually like the kids dressing up as Sting. I thought because they're both great athletes. I mean, they're both college athletes.
They passed Robert Stone's kids as my favorite kids in 2024.
And I didn't think I'd get as weepy as I did, as I would. I got a little bit.
I did, and here's another thing.
I have more of a connection with Sting than you do. So
exactly, I'm not a Sting guy.
I was never. Let me put it this way: I was never a Sting guy until my co-host on my other show said the symbolism of Sting beating 2 Vince McMahons. When he was mistreated at that WWF thing, and also when Vince was the one who killed WCW, is big, and I never thought of it that way. And I had been watching Sting since UWF. But I was never a Sting guy. I was always the guy rooting for the heels against Sting. And then just this last time, and the thing about that symbolism, think about how long he's been there, and also just think about he's taken a lot of crap from a lot of wrestling pundits about, WCW's drawing in the 90s and all that other stuff.
And then, just cashing a paycheck for 10 years in TNA.
Yeah, and he might have been, but that's part of the business too. So get paid, man.
It's like half of WWE's roster.
Now. I'm just watching. I'm going, well, this is really the last bastion of, and no offense to Jeff Jarrett or Mike Jackson or George South.
Dustin Rhodes.
Or Dustin Rhodes. Well, Dustin Rhodes is very late. I mean, he's right at that cusp of when WCW went national. And he's really the last of the quote unquote regional territory guys.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was the big star type of thing. I mean, Jeff Jarrett was big in Memphis, but I mean, he had gone to WWF.
I think Rock and Rolls are still out there doing matches.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're not as big as Sting now. I mean, their apex, I think, or their nadir, if you will, was the FTR match. And then, tag team.
Yeah.
Appreciation night. It's like, well, that's their goodbye, pretty much.
Yeah. And they were, that was what, 4 years ago now.
Yeah. They need to do another one of those.
That was before the pandemic, I think.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to talk too much else about Sunday because we have a big show here to talk about. But I do want to mention, because we always often talk about news here, Sammy Guevara suspended. This one, something doesn't add up. Supposedly he was suspended because in that match with Jeff Hardy, he was careless, and Jeff Hardy, he did not follow concussion protocol. Now, how the hell is Sammy Guevara supposed to know that Jeff Hardy is concussed? Is it Sammy Guevara's job to stop the match? Like, something doesn't add up. And then he went out and did another match with Will Hobbs after that, which was equally as unsafe. Luckily, Hobbs didn't get hurt. Now I'm told that maybe it was a combination of both that made them decide, okay, he needs a break. I don't know. And Mike Santana got fired too. That was another one, but
yeah, that one you could see coming a mile away.
Yeah, well, I thought. I just figured they were going to let the contract run out. I'm surprised they fired him. Probably did him a favor, He
may have
wanted to check,
exacerbated that and gotten out of there quick by
did he do something
or nothing. There's been
he bitches on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sammy, I agree with you. Something smells.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is because it's not up to the talent to not hit.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to get suspended. I think there's something we don't know.
Oh, that's why
I'm saying he got suspended.
And we know that Sammy has a bit of a temper too.
Yeah, yeah.
The fight with Andrade, the fight with did he get in a fight with somebody else backstage too? At one time?
Eddie Kingston.
Oh, that's right, Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and this is possible too. Money, guys being mad at Sammy, being reckless. They give him a paid. I'm not sure if it's paid. It might be. I mean, the thing is,
maybe with Hobbs, yes, but Jeff Hardy's such a veteran that if he says I'm not going to take a move, he's not going to take a move.
No, and I mean Jeff Hardy's probably not going to stop a match. So
no, that's up to the ref.
Exactly. Yeah, and so if the ref was
Doc Sampson's at ringside.
Now, it's possible the ref was trying to stop the match and Sammy just kept going. I mean, that's possible. And if that's what happened, then yeah. I mean,
then yes. If the doctor says we need to stop this and Sammy goes, no, let me hit my finisher. He's cool with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Suspend that guy.
All right. I want to get into this show. So it's the season premiere of Dynamite, even though if you look at the episode guide, I think it says season 6, episode 10, but it's the season premiere. They have a new set and new theme song, believe it or not. And I don't hate the set, but I don't really understand why they changed it.
Well, let me ask you a question here, Paul.
Can we call it Dynamite 2.0?
Did you enjoy Wednesday Night Raw from 2005? Forget the lies, the money. We're in this together.
Well, yeah, you had that. Then you had the opening match.
Tell me that they did not go to Mikey Ruckus and say, make a new metal kind of clone of the Raw theme.
Because we're going to do an opening 20-minute promo that's going to set up our first match, and we're going to have the world title guy and his challenger team up together
against a tag team champions.
Yeah, and we're going to beat the tag team champions.
And then we're going to have the random Kane versus Bob Holly hardcore match afterwards, too. I mean, this is from 2005.
And then we're just going to end the match with a Kurt Angle, 5-star special.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I mean, there is something to that. So if you ask if I enjoyed it, I mean, I kind of enjoyed the show. I
sat there thinking, God, this is a lot like Raw used to be.
Yeah, and Raw was pretty good in 2005.
I don't mean that, as a pejorative either. It's,
I mean, they were, they had a great roster back then. They had 3 brands and they were all pretty good. And yeah, I mean, it was, it wasn't.
Not say ECW was a pretty good brand.
Well, it was for a couple months.
Move on, because I don't want to get in a fight with you.
All right. I really like those 2 pay-per-views they did.
What, the Christmas one?
No, the one night stands.
Oh, the one night stands were fine. Yeah.
So they got this new thing, and the new set, they got the LED boards that are on the hard cam side. It looks exactly like the 2.0 background, except it's not nearly as obnoxious, but it's the exact same color scheme. It's we mean good. And Matt didn't like the opening segment. So we'll talk about the opening segment. So Tony Schiavone's in the ring and he wants to speak to Swerve. So they show some highlights from Sunday. I noted that they had white ring ropes. So crowd's chanting Swerve's house right away. Yeah, Swerve's what's next.
I had a friend who hated those white ring ropes, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard some negative things. So Swerve says, I don't know if I deserve that chant. He said, what's the house without the keys? This Sunday, I wrestled a 3-way and I couldn't get the job done, and Samoa Joe did. Crowd boos Joe. Keep that in mind. And I pointed out they weren't booing Sunday, and they also weren't booing when Joe came out later because they're scared of him. He says, 2 years ago to the day, we stood on that stage at Revolution. You offered me an AEW contract, and I signed. You remember what I said? I told you I'm going to give my all to AEW and I'm going to win championships and I'm going to become first black AEW world champion. And here I stand with no gold around my waist. He says, maybe it's karma from all the bad stuff I've done. I've done some terrible shit in AEW. He said shit and they didn't bleep it. He said, maybe this is payback. He said, as a matter of fact, fans interrupt him by chanting Swerve's house. He says, I got some doubt in my head. Maybe I'm not supposed to be champ. Maybe I'm not supposed to be a role player. Someone who gets close enough, and then I just got to settle for this. And he says, actually, and then here's the one time I actually like the "You deserve it" chant, because the crowds are chanting "You deserve it," before he actually wins. So that's kind of cool. And he says, I got to tell you a little something. He said, something about Sunday felt different. I go to all the arena and I see you chanting and dancing. Something about Sunday felt different. People were truly rooting for me for the first time. And it felt like y'all really wanted me to win and make history. People flew across the country from Washington to be there and watch me make history. And I will not let you down. And he points at the camera and he says, the fact remains that nothing changes from this point on. Samoa Joe, whether you're still holding that world championship or not, I'm coming for you. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm going to defeat you for that AEW World Championship. I promise. Whose house? Swerve's house. Whose damned house? And for those not paying attention, they should have just put a graphic on the screen. Swerve's babyface turned. This was the moment he turned babyface for anyone that wasn't sure, because he promised, and they got to do it. So
this was the Joseph Campbell hero's journey part where the hero has been beat down and then he decides he's going to rebuild himself. Yeah, no, this was. I thought this came off a little. I wasn't liking it for a while.
Yeah. Same as me. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go. You tell me what you thought. No, I interrupted you.
It's interesting, the dichotomy that Nana is sitting there screaming, "Whose house? Swerve's house. Whose house? Swerve's house." Swerve's giving this babyface promo.
Yeah.
And he doesn't mention the Nana crown gimmick from last night. Or even mention Nana's behavior from Sunday night. And that's gonna come sooner than later. I get that, and they're holding it off. It was just it hit a beat where it's like it didn't necessarily ring true, but I thought he was coming off weak for a while until he brought it back around. I really wasn't liking that promo, because it's just, I guess, I don't know. When I started, it was expository. It was a little expository for a promo for AEW as well. It's something I expect from the other company, is telling me your entire life story in the opening 20 minutes of a wrestling show.
When he said he was going to take Hangman's spot, I didn't realize it was going to be the spot of the despondent millennial.
Emo.
Yeah.
Emo Swerve has come.
Yeah. So after he does his promise, out comes Joe. And he's in his trunk, so that should have been a clue, because he's usually in a suit. Mm-hmm. And he shines up his belt with his towel, and he asks for a mic, and he kind of points at Swerve while he's doing it, which is a nice touch. He says, for a man who got beat down the other day, you sure are talking funny. He says, you're making promises to these good people that you're never going to keep. I come out here for a reality check and to adjust your perception. Here we are in Swerve's house, and Nana's leading them and cheering. And he says, unfortunately, your house exists in my world. And I thought that was going to bring out Wardlow.
Love that line.
Yeah. Well, eventually, I mean, that's Wardlow's line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he said, so instead of coming out here and disappointing these good people about an almost champion, I thought I'd come out here and let them gaze at an actual champion.
Well, Joe has a point.
Oh,
he beat both of them.
And then he turns his back, and Swerves gets mad. And he says, don't turn your back on me. He says, you're talking spicy against someone you never actually beaten. He says, how about we put this belt on the line tonight? In fact, I don't want to wait all night. Let's do this shit right now. Oh, that's where he said shit. Okay.
Yes.
And then the Undisputed music hits, and out comes the Undisputed Kingdom. And
Yes. Hold on. We need to say something about number one. I love hey, put your title on the line right now. I just did on Sunday. I mean, there's that. I don't understand how you can logically do that, but I guess, I get it. The fiery babyface thing here, but that pales in comparison.
Well, I think Tony coached these guys backstage. He said, guys, we don't have a match in the first half hour. Can we make a match here? And so Swerve's desperately trying.
All my quibbling about any logic in that pales in comparison to Adam Cole coming out here.
Yeah, so Adam Cole comes out and he's got a mic. For the first time, I think ever, he says story time with Adam Cole, baby, and the crowd booed it. I love that. He says the only story we're talking about here is the Undisputed Kingdom. And just like we said, Roderick Strong is your new AEW International Champion. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are still the greatest ROH World Tag Team Champions of all time. Yeah, that's a badge of honor.
It was a bad night for ROH champions tonight.
Oh, we'll get to that. And he said, and then there's you two. Samoa Joe, you are big and bad, but the only reason you're the AEW World Championship is because we let it happen. And they showed Joe, and Joe's like, he's kind of got a point. He said, Swerve, the hot new thing, 6 months from now, no one's going to give a damn about you. And the only thing you're going to swerve from is the main event scene, because there's no way in hell you're winning the AEW World title. I'll tell you who's winning the AEW World title, Wardlow. Very soon, Wardlow is winning that title and bringing it to its rightful place. And he points at himself. Just perfect. And Wardlow is standing behind him, and he's not going to give Adam Cole the belt if he wins. Like, no, it doesn't matter because he's not going to win. But there's trouble in the Undisputed Kingdom world right now. And then Swerve says,
they've been saying that since week 2, Paul.
This is true. Swerve said, it's funny you're telling me to get to the back of the line, because how many times have you failed, Adam Cole? He says, I'm really digging this new role as manager of this whole thing. What did he say? The whole Inspector Gadget or Dr. Gadget? I didn't quite get the reference that he said here. Whatever it was, people laughed. And he says, but if you need new clients, I got Britt Baker's second phone number in my pocket right here. So that was a good line, and probably a hint that she's getting ready to come back soon, I would think. So then Cole's mad, and he says, how about next week, the two greatest ROH tag team champions ever against you two, Swerve and Samoa Joe. And then Swerve says, let's not wait till next week. And then Cole says, you don't make the rules, we do. Match happens next week. No ifs, ands, or buts. And then Tony Schiavone's like, hold on. I just heard from Tony Khan. The match is on. It's happening right now. Bring us a ref. So Swerve went from wanting to fight Samoa Joe for the world title to agreeing to team with him in like 2 minutes. I didn't quite like that part of this, but I like the interplay. Because in the back of my mind, I've been thinking, like, okay, we got Okada in, we got Ospreay in, we got, all these people. Since Adam Cole left, it feels like since he got injured, doesn't it feel like about 12 people have leapfrogged past him in the AEW hierarchy?
Very much so.
He definitely got Wally pipped, I think.
I think so. I mean, I've been saying this whole time that the Callis family is a much stronger heel stable than this Undisputed Kingdom.
Especially now. Dr. Claw, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Dave Hurdos. All right, give us your thoughts here before we get to this great match.
In kayfabe world,
yes,
the logic of a world champion teaming with his arch rival against tag team champions that hold gold, even if it's not for the gold, makes no sense. Why not just leave him to the wolves? Because you can't trust the guy, even if the gold's on the line and you become tag champions. There's no stakes for a world champion to do this. You can't get more money necessarily in kayfabe world. So it's always one of those things where I hate this booking. I gotta be honest with you, because it's also one of those things where my old school brain kicks in and goes, well, a well-established tag team should be able to beat two singles wrestlers who are teaming together for the first time. I know it's on me, and I know wrestling's different. I know blah, 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 blah. And I know Ole Anderson is rolling in his grave right now.
R.I.P. Ole.
R.I.P. Ole. But it's one of those things that I think about. I go, well, that's how you establish tag teams as tag teams, is that they can beat any two geeks who team up.
Exactly. And then, so you talked about kayfabe. Let me talk about booking. You got the ROH tag team champions out there who Adam Cole just called the greatest ROH tag team champions of all time, which, I mean, every heel that holds a belt is the greatest champion of all time of whatever belt he holds. But the booking here should have been Joe doesn't even want to get in there. The ROH tag team champions beat the shit out of Swerve for 90% of the match. Swerve makes a comeback, makes a hot tag to Joe. Joe tags in, does like a move, tags back out, and then Swerve somehow maybe flukes out the win. Like that's, I mean, ideally the tag team guys would win, but I mean, we knew that wasn't going to happen, but they should have taken 90% of the match. Instead, what we basically got 2 handicap matches. We started out with, I think it was Joe, right? Or is it Swerve?
I think. No, Joe started the match. Joe wrestled for a while, tagged in Swerve. Swerve ran through both of them like butter and got the pin.
And just got the pin. And Joe ran through them too. Like, I don't think like the I want to call them the Acclaimed, but whatever their name is, the Kingdom.
The Undisputed Kingdom. Why weren't they at ringside? And why did they get in there and just have a DQ here?
Well, they could have done that.
Beat down all the guys.
And Joe could have just stood there and laughed.
Show their dominance. Or they could have beaten down Joe at the same time. Because Wardlow is facing
Joe next
week.
Yeah, but no, this was
I was baffled by this.
It was baffling because I mean it was basically a squash. It was 2 handicap matches. You had Joe in a handicap match against the Kingdom through the break, and then he tagged out to Swerve, and then Swerve tagged in, and Swerve was working total babyface. He's dancing, he's doing moves I've never seen before. He's flipping all over the place.
He grittied.
Oh,
that's the first time he gritted before in a match, I think.
But he, total babyface. Crowd went nuts for him. And he got the pin. It was great. And then Wardlow comes out, and Swerve turned his back on Joe, and Joe grabbed him from behind and laid him out with a sleeper. And my last words I wrote, what a geek Swerve is.
Why was Joe concerned on the apron? Why wasn't Joe watching this in amusement?
I don't know.
And just applaud Swerve for his great win.
Yeah, because he didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, these Undisputed Kingdom, they had a job.
You hurt Joe's pride by tagging into a tag match he doesn't want to be in?
These guys failed. Adam Cole should probably fire them. I don't think he will, because they got those shiny
him in
belts
the first place, to be honest.
This is true. Yeah. I think that's why Kyle O'Reilly doesn't want to join their group. He doesn't want to team with these guys.
I don't want Joe and Swerve in the tournament. Please don't do that.
Oh God, no. But I know what he means.
Can they? Because they did that with Max and Cole, didn't they?
No, but WWE would have put the 2 guys in the tournament. That's
but they kind of did that with Adam Cole and MJF.
Yeah, that's true.
For the ROH tag titles and in that tournament. Yeah, and they won.
Yeah. You know that I've had the ROH Honor Club now ever since Final Battle, and I watch it.
You are a historian of ROH.
Yeah, I watch it every week, and in that whole time,
I'm so sorry.
I've seen one champion. Well, I've seen one title match. It was a Kyle Fletcher title defense, and it was before Christmas, I think. I have not seen the ROH 6-man tag champ or titles on there. I have not seen the TV champ in 2024.
There's only one champion on that show worth a damn, and that's Athena.
And she hasn't wrestled at all. She wrestled one match. She wrestled Nyla Rose last week, I think.
I am stating it after tonight. You have to kill the ROH World TV Champion, and you have to, and you have to kill the ROH Tag Team Championships.
Well,
dead.
That was the best match Kyle Fletcher's had in his life. But
it was great, but they didn't hype it up that he's the TV champ. He was just out there as Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher, jobber of the week. All right. Next week at Big Business, this is where they announced it's Joe versus Wardlow. So I guess that's why Tony didn't want that tag match next week, because he already had a world title match booked for next week. So they showed a lot of highlights from Revolution. I like that.
Yes, I do too, because the replay is still there and you can still buy it, kids.
Yeah, and a lot of people buy the replays in 2024 for some reason. And they showed highlights here of the Scramble match, and they focused on Hook and Cage. And Excalibur reminded us of the history there, that they used to be in Team Taz, and they showed a bunch of highlights of past interactions. And then we got Hook versus Brian Cage, powered by Woo Energy.
Hold on, didn't we get that? Didn't we get a segment with Jericho?
Yeah. So I wrote that down thinking that the match was next, because they told me that the match was next. And then we had a bunch of stuff before the match. So we got Renee with Hook. My weekly Renee fashion update is she had a flowered blouse and black leather pants.
What did you think of the jacket on Sunday?
I don't remember it.
Oh, the rainbow tassels and
well, it's kind of what you had today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah,
I don't pay attention to Renee, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Jericho showed up. I wrote down Jericho showed up for some reason, and he told Hook that his first match as Lionheart was against your father, and I've always had a connection to Taz, and because of it, I've got a connection with you, and I never had respect from you until Sunday when you dumped me on my head, and so congrats on being the real deal. And Hook is like, all right.
I thought for certain we were gonna get a replay of last week's Chris Jericho promo.
Yeah.
Is go, yeah, I fought your father Taz, and now I'm gonna fight you with violence.
Yeah. But no, this was just to set up what was gonna happen later.
Clout vampire Chris Jericho coming in here. I'm kind of, here's what I want now. Because now it's a pattern. When you do it once, it's a coincidence. When you do it twice, it's a pattern.
Yeah.
I want him to do kind of an anti-Randy Orton legend killer gimmick, except it's the sons of people that he faced people he either partnered or faced in the
Christian
past.
Cage ever wrestle Buddy Wayne? Or I mean, did Chris Jericho ever wrestle Buddy Wayne?
He might have, as Wayne was enhancement talent. I don't know. That could have happened. We could have done that. I don't think he ever faced Dusty, but he could always face Dusty.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. I mean, he probably faced Dusty at some point.
No. Dusty was long gone, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll find some more people for Jericho to do this with. But yeah, so that set up what was going to happen later.
Yeah.
And Excalibur said next Wednesday we're going to make history. They showed highlights of the 4-way world title match. And then we go backstage to the EVPs and they're all smiling. And they said, it's great to be here. We got a huge announcement. And then the other Buck says, no, we got 2 huge announcements. And the first one is, and then they go, no, wait a minute. How about we make those 2 huge announcements in the ring later tonight? And he says, so join us later. And they smile and they put up their thumbs. They're all like just
6-star segment because they went from being 2 Vince McMahons to being 2 Tony Khans. It was excellent.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. That was fun. And they were trying to be as bad as Tony, but there's no way. I mean, anybody could be as
no, they had legitimate personality doing it.
Yeah. So we get to this
Tony looks like he's being held hostage and should be holding up a newspaper when he does these things.
They aired a video later with Tony with his audio from the press conference. That was funny. Yeah.
That's my Tony Khan impression.
Yeah,
I think we could do something like that.
So we get to this match, Hook and Brian Cage, and Brian Cage comes out. He's wearing a cape for some reason, and Bryce is reffing, and they pointed out he had a shiner courtesy of Hangman because Hangman had beaten the shit out of him in that 4-way match. And these two had a hardcore match. I guess it was for the FTW title.
I need to say something because your random cape comment. What was going on with Roddy Strong on the pay-per-view?
I don't.
With the mask and the bed sheet around it.
I don't know. And then he had these glasses tonight that were like white with white rims. And
have we opened the prop department from a sketch comedy theater in LA? Is that what we're doing now? Here, put this on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Cage wearing a cape is the most random thing, but okay.
And he's not doing he doesn't have the Sting makeup anymore.
No, he's doing a different. I think he did Star Child from Kiss.
Yeah. And so they had a hardcore match. They got all kinds of stuff. Hook got a fire extinguisher earlier and he sprayed him and it kind of wiped the makeup off of Cage's face. That was funny. And yeah, so they just did a bunch of stuff. They hit each other with a bunch of shit. They went outside. They came back from the break. Crowd is just dead. And they got into Hook's comeback. He DDT'd Cage onto a chair. Hook hit him with a trash can lid, suplexed him into a guardrail that was conveniently lying against the ropes. He's doing the BCC elbows of death, but then Cage took over and hit a neck breaker, powerbombed him, hit an F5 on a chair, but that only got 2. Then he went and got a bag of thumbtacks. Hook choked him out, but Cage backed him into the corner. Hook beat him with a kendo stick, T-boned him into the tacks. Hook did. And then he did the elbows of death again, put on red rum. Cage flipped Hook back into the tacks and Hook no-sold it. And Cage passed out and the ref stopped it. And this was complete garbage, but it was fun.
it was random garbage too.
Yeah, it was.
That's
I mean,
the
well,
weird
it
thing,
wasn't.
is
It
you're
wasn't. They do have a history, and they told us about the history. So
yeah,
I
but I mean, in
appreciate
terms, but it's not a blood feud, and it's also
no,
like
no.
I guess the FTW belt is just a de facto. We're going to be in the ECW arena
Yeah,
belt.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Kind of
I mean,
need to,
it's not officially recognized either by AEW.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Just say that, because I
Yeah.
don't think they did.
They have. They didn't
They
say it here,
have,
but
but
they
they
have.
they
Yeah,
should reiterate.
this is true. Yes.
I think this was just Hook showed how tough he wanted to be. I gotta be honest with you. Okay, I'll go through some
Yeah.
thumbtacks. Cool.
Yeah, and no sold it. So in the
He
background,
sold it at first because that hurt him. You can tell.
So in the background after the match, you see someone jumping the rail, and then they cut away right away. And I thought, oh my god, I hope that wasn't a fan. And no, it was. I believe it was Bishop Kwan, and then Toa Leon jumped in, and they're double teaming Hook. So out comes Chris Jericho to make the save with a bat.
Yes.
And I just wrote down, what the fuck. So I guess we're gonna get Joe, and I guess we're gonna get Hook and Jericho in this tournament. Probably would be my guess.
I'm thinking that too.
Yeah.
And then that leads to
Jericho's probably gonna turn on him, or I don't know.
Oh, at the end of the match, somebody will get frustrated or something like that. And yeah,
This might even be a first round match, you know, those two against the Gates of Agony.
They do this in every tag tournament they have, though. They're just playing the hits, and that really disappoints me a little bit.
Well, you got to have some teams that'll lose in the first round, because I think this is going to be a big tournament. Tony said something about
800 brackets and 30 teams. And so everybody has their own bracket. It's like there's gonna be brackets for brackets here.
This is where the video package aired. You hear Tony's audio from the press conference over top of this, and the video package was great. They were showing all these highlights from like going back to the pandemic and even before that, and you got all the great tag teams: FTR, Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, and the Acclaimed. And he says,
David and Bennett.
Yeah. The tag titles are vacated. There's going to be a tournament. And he says there's going to be lots of existing tournaments and many brackets to fill out. And start to finish, March 2024 will be one of the most important and realist. I don't.
Okay, here's where I got confused, because it sounded like he was saying that there were lots of brackets for this tag team tournament, and it's not. What he's talking about is all these conference tournaments and the NCAA tournaments that are coming up.
No.
So,
I think he's going to have conferences in this tournament. I think he's going to have like the Continental Classic had the gold block and the blue block. I think he's going to have like the North Regional, the West Regional, the South Regional, the East Regional.
I will defend this in a way, because like the most exciting part for me as a youngin who didn't get to go live to see the Crockett Cups.
Yeah.
We're hearing the teams that you never get to see that were coming in here. Oh, Baba and Tiger Mask. Or
we're gonna get like Team Filthy in this tournament,
like Dino Bravo and Rick Martel, and then of course Dino Bravo no showed to go. Dino Bravo no showed to go.
I like this idea
to go to WWF. Yeah, no, give me a good New Japan team. Give me a CMLL team. Give me a AAA team that's not in the same side of the bracket. Give me an NWA team. Hell, give me an NXT or WWE team that they don't need, that they'll send in there to take it.
Or that nobody realizes they fired.
Yes.
Hey,
those Elias and
I
Coco Ware. I don't know.
So on Sunday before Revolution, I had some time, and I threw on my Triller Plus, and I watched a Wrestling Revolver show from a couple weeks ago. And believe it or not, the best match on this show, and it was a good show, the best match on this show was Speedball Mike Bailey against Elias. They had a really good match.
Speedball Mike Bailey is great.
Well, he is, and Elias was really good in this match. So yeah, they had this card. I saw the first ever match between Chris Bay and Leo Rush on this card. I can't remember who else was on there. Mansoor, great heel, terrible wrestler, but great heel.
He's actually, I actually don't think he's that bad of a wrestler, to be honest with you. At times, I mean, for his experience level, he's
for his experience, but he's a great heel. Yeah, he was great. So I'd strongly recommend that.
No, I love tag tournaments. Give me promos. Give me promos to build these things from each of the teams. That's what I want.
Mansoor and Elias, you could throw them in this tournament.
Well, Mansoor and Mace. Yeah. They're already cool.
But yeah, we could have the ROH block. We could have the AW block. I love this idea by Matt. I mean, we could definitely have that, like maybe 4 blocks of 4.
Well, we could have like an AEW block. We could have a New Japan block, a CMLL block, and a all others block where it's like you get invites to different companies and stuff. Yeah.
We just can't have a AAA block if we have a CMLL block.
No,
unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, so we got that coming up. A lot of stuff going on.
There was one other thing. The House of Pain, or was it the House of Torture? I was saying the Gates of Agony. Gates of Agony are part of House of Torture, and now so is Jack Perry. So
no, the Gates of Agony actually aren't part of House of Torture.
Oh,
that
they're
was
not?
A swerve. No,
that was
only for basically 2 days, and then they had to wrestle the House of Torture in the next match, and then the Evil wanted them to put them over.
See, I was saying Jack Perry may come over and be Nana's new guy. That's what I was.
Jack Perry is definitely in the House of Torture, unless it's a swerve as well. But yeah, he joined the House of Torture today. Beat Shooter Umino. I watched that match this morning. So we go to commercial. We come back. We got Remarkable Renee Paquette with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. Said, your run as international champion came to an end. What's next? And Orange Cassidy says, well, I'm going to do whatever I can to fill up my backpack with titles. And then she says, well, let's talk about these vacated tag team championships. Our Best Friends going to enter this tournament? And Chucky T says, nope, my ankle's still hurt, but these two should team up. And Friday, you guys are going to have your first match. And then they do the hands thing. And that's that. So we're going to get Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor in this, and Trent Beretta in this tournament.
Trent Beretta on a Friday Rampage? What?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you saw the Rampage card. Remember last week you said it was the rampagiest of rampages?
This one is too. Oh yeah.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. Like that. Oh,
we got the greatest tag team in history.
That triple threat is the rampagiest rampage of rampages right there.
The best team in history.
Commander
Brian Keith and
Brian Keith. Yeah, I saw that. That's what I meant. That's what I was thinking of. Them against Top Flight against
Private Party.
Against Private Party.
Yeah. Oh, and that's not all.
That's every Friday, isn't it?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. And then there was another one in there too that is just as rampagey. We'll get to it because I wrote it down. Christian Cage's music hit, and I thought he was coming out for a promo, but no, it was a kill switch match. And he hits on commentary, and Matt Menard comes out. He's got his ribs all taped up, and this was basically just a squash. He got a little bit of offense at the beginning. It was. I mean, Daddy Magic.
I loved that Menard came out and just and he had a grudge, and he just came out to start fighting. Yeah, and then eventually he gets caught.
Yeah, and Killswitch hit him with a lariat to the back. Then he picked him up and hit him with another one, and they pinned him.
I love the Mother Wayne shirt.
Yeah, she's got. Is it Mother Wayne or just Mother?
I think it's Mother. It's Mother in big letters, and then Wayne underneath in very small letters. You can't see it
because
barely.
Yeah, because the mother is covering up the top part.
She's bigger than.
She's bigger than everybody in this company.
She's taller than Luchasaurus.
Oh yeah, I mean, she wears 9-inch heels, so
that's probably why. Yeah.
When on the pay-per-view, I think it was on the pay-per-view when Daddy Magic confronted her. And he was eyeballed the chest. I mean, it was pretty funny. But yeah, so there's just a squash. And Killswitch after the match picked him up. He's going to choke slam him, but Danny Garcia made the save. And then Christian sent Nick Wayne into the ring, but Garcia fought him off as well. Got a nice little baby face comeback, and then Killswitch eventually got him. The odds were he. Whatever. I don't know what I was going to say. Killswitch and took over anyways. Yeah. And Christian said he's not outnumbered, he's outsmarted. And then Wayne hits him with Wayne's World. And that's when I noticed Mama Wayne's shirt. And they said Christian was going to the ring, but he was actually just leaving. And then Killswitch and Nick Wayne followed him. And Adam Copeland shows up out of nowhere, took out Killswitch with a chair, choked out Nick Wayne. Mama Wayne tried to low blow him, but Copeland was ready for him too. And he gets in her face, and then Christian was going to confront him, and then Copeland sees him, and he starts chasing him, and he chased him through the crowd, through the backstage area, through the concourse, to the outside, And then Cage sees somebody getting into their SUV and he like tosses them away, steals the car, and takes off. And the camera's following this the whole way. And then Copeland turns to the camera and he says, even though he just ran like a little bitch, I know he's going to watch this later. So he said, this ends where it started. Toronto, March 20th, Dynamite. Cope Cage 3 for the TNT Championship in an I Quit match. See you there, kid. And this was such a WWE segment.
Oh, it was. And my favorite part about these segments.
But I don't mean it as a bad thing, because
I don't mean it as a bad thing. It's fun to watch a guy get chased. I think they should have extended it for a segment to make it ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like don't do it picture in picture because the guy will get tired. But hey, he's actually run around the arena and he's now found an exit to get out. My favorite part of these is they don't plan these because they film these live.
Yeah.
Is always there's always this point. A guy jumps in a car and he needs to floor it. But the problem is it's kind of in a tight situation or a short place, so he always has to kind of go out slow. Where any guy who was running full speed could catch up to this car right now.
Copeland had to stop, like literally stop and watch him. Yeah.
I howled at that. It's like, Christian's taking it easy around the trucks. Okay.
Oh yeah, he caught up with him. Like he literally caught up with him. Yeah. This was like a bad cop scene, but so they set it up, and then Tony Khan got in Excalibur's ear, told him it was official, and then. But
I liked the Copeland Copeland promo into the camera here, and I like that this is an I Quit match. This feels very Tully Magnum a little bit.
Yeah, and then they're probably going to end up teaming after that.
Someone's not going to say I quit. That's
hopefully we don't do the old Mick Foley thing with the
with the tape. ADR. Yeah, that was bad.
So we go back to Renee in the back, and Kyle O'Reilly got himself a shave. And she says, "You've been gone nearly 2 years, and what did that look like for you?" And he says, "Well, for a while, I didn't think I'd ever wrestle again, but to be here and to be cleared and to feel the love from the fans, a second chance to do this again, I'm just grateful." And he said, "That moment at Revolution, what happened out there, I've got nothing but love and respect for the Undisputed Kingdom. I feel like I've fallen so far down the mountain, I don't even know what path I'm going to take, but now that I got a second chance, I got to do this on my own." And short little babyface promo. This poor dude, like, he's great. He's a great wrestler. He did a nice babyface promo here. He's like 50th on the list of AEW people. Like, I don't know what this guy's role is, but I like him, so I'm kind of here for him. I met him in Dallas. Super nice guy.
No, he's very nice and everything. I'm leery of this, Paul.
Okay. What, you think he's false? Or?
Because after I watched, you watched the when he came back on Sunday.
Yeah.
He looked like a hobo.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. He looked like he was almost playing, and I'm not saying this to be mean or disrespectful. He looked like he was playing a man who was mentally ill.
Okay.
This almost feels like there's going to be some giant character swerve here for Kyle O'Reilly, where he comes out and he's like, he's playing timid right now, but he's decided on this run, he's going to be wacky Kyle O'Reilly in some way.
Oh, you remember that in NXT? Oh my God.
Yes. This feels like a setup. This feels like we're being set up for Kyle O'Reilly deciding
he's going to come out and make a save for somebody and then join in. Or something like that.
No. Not like a story type of thing, but a gimmick type of thing where he decides you remember Cool Kyle?
Oh yeah. That's what I was just talking about.
Yeah. Even wackier.
Oh God. That's what
this feels like to me. And I can't get that out of my head. He's
gonna be an ROH. Like this is an ROH guy. Like he's got no place in AEW. I'm sorry. I like Kyle O'Reilly, but he should be an ROH.
Soft, timid wrestlers just make me suspicious. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's too babyface.
It's like, too babyface. Yeah.
So they showed highlights of Sting's last match, and then Tony Schiavone called it the Bucks, and they kicked Tony out of the ring. And Nick says,
"Great,
we're moving right past Sunday night. Sting and Darby, you cheated. You invited all your friends from the retirement home and your 6'8", 305-pound sons out, and they all cheated." And then Matthew, he says, "You brought up a good point. You can't take this away from us. We ended Sting's career forever." He said, "There's a tag team tournament coming up, and guess who's entering ourselves in it? We're getting those tag team belts now. And then on to today's agenda. Matthew says we got 2 huge announcements, and he says a little housekeeping. He says, first of all, this is tough. We're EVPs, and we take our job seriously. And in an effort to show we have no favoritism, our hands are focused here. Hangman Adam Page, you put your hands on 2 officials on Sunday. You crossed a line. And unfortunately, Hanger, we got to suspend you indefinitely from the Elite without pay. The crowd boos. So I don't know if maybe he's going to come back as a babyface. And he said, and then there's the next one. I don't even know how I'm going to say this. Kenny Omega, our dear friend. It's like you disappeared off the face of the earth or something. You haven't made any of your dates, and there's no good reason. And the announcers point out that he's got an illness. And he says, as far as your association with the Elite goes, Ken, you're fired. He says, we're sorry. We love you guys. I apologize if you had to find out on live TV. And he says, well, of course, that's how you're going to find out. He says, but line up the group chat and we'll be there. Well, I don't know. We might be there. And then he says, and now for the next one. You're going to love this. And then before they can make their big announcement, they're interrupted by Eddie Kingston. He's got a mic. And he says, I'm wearing sweatpants and Tim's, so find me if you want. And he said, this hothead right here, you said if I talk crap about you guys, I'm going to be fined. Well, you might as well do it now, bitch. And Matt says, no, hold on. Let's take this offline. Let's go to the back. Eddie attacks him, but Eddie attacked Nick, but Nick low blow, or Matt low blowed him. And then Nick hit him with a super kick. And then they're about to do the EVP trigger. And whose music should hit but the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. And my longtime friend and podcast partner, Ryan Frederick, had made a comment. I'm not sure if it was on Twitter or in the Discord. This is about a month and a half ago. And he said, maybe Okada should just come in and hang out with the Elite and be a dick and have fun for a while.
Hang out with the Bucks and be a dick.
Hang out with the Bucks.
Yes.
My friend Adine that I was talking about earlier had messaged me earlier today and said, I think Okada should join the Bucks. Where is this coming from? But he did. He comes out. He's got a suit on. That should have been your first clue. And he just grabs Eddie. And I mean, he doesn't even hint that he's going to help him. He's setting him up for the Rainmaker, and he hits him with the Rainmaker. And then the Jacksons announce him the newest member of the Elite, Kazuchika Okada. And Okada's hanging over Eddie, and he's making motions for that piece of crap belt that Eddie has. So they just signed Kazuchika Okada, and he's going to be going for the Ring of Honor Championship, I guess, and the Continental Crown and the New Japan Strong Champion. So he goes from wrestling for the New Japan World Championship to wrestling for the Strong Championship. It's Tony Khan's money, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, suspended from the Elite. I should have made that clear. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you did.
Not from AEW.
But you said he was suspended from the Elite, but you didn't explain it. But it was fine. No, and that's part of the ha. Yeah. They're not suspended from the company; they're suspended from the Elite.
Exactly. Although, I mean, Hangman should have been suspended from the company for attacking the refs.
Yes, yeah. Tony Khan should have come out with a statement, a press release.
I think Tony Khan's in this with the Elite, but
oh God, no. Well, let's start with the good.
Okay.
Okada being with the Bucks is much preferable to Okada being with the Best Friends.
Okay, yes, you're correct. Yes.
Other than that, I don't know. Because I don't view the Bucks as top heels.
Well,
I mean, they're don't get me wrong, they're positioned as top heels as EVPs. But everybody enjoys their antics on an ironic level type of a thing. They're not getting booed for what they're doing.
I don't know about that. They're getting booed.
Good. Well, then we're on the right track, and I will retract my statement. But
my issue here is that they're bringing in these guys that people want to cheer and turning them heel. Yes. I mean, Ospreay is positioned as a heel.
Yes.
Okada is definitely a heel.
Yes. Jay White.
I think. Well, Jay White's a different story.
White should be a heel.
Jay White is a heel.
Yes.
But they got to turn Ospreay quick. Or I mean, if they don't, they got no top baby faces. Swerve. I mean, that's it, right? Who else?
Will Mercedes be part of the Elite?
I don't know. I was wondering if she was going to be part of the Mogul Embassy.
Because they're in the money.
Yeah, exactly. No, you know,
Yeah.
and he's turned babyface now, so they could come in as that, and then maybe you just break off the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage, and you just have Nana, Swerve, and Monet. They could
That'd
do
be
worse than
beneath
that.
her, I think. I think that's the problem. I mean, I guess
Well, unless she wins
Swerve
the
being in
world.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Swerve's going for the world title and he is the world champion and she's the women's world champion, I think that's great, but I don't know. So yeah, so Okada is all elite, and he's the newest member of the elite. So the announcers pointed both those things out. So
Okada let's say this though. Okada looks fantastic in a suit. Always.
Oh yeah.
God.
The one thing I will say is the signing of Okada itself was kind of underplayed here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is something that you hype up and then you debut him on a show as opposed to surprise.
Yeah, like he's just there. But and so for most people, like you've seen Okada before.
This is for the fan base that enjoys when Okada comes to an event and steals the Young Bucks gear.
A little bit, yeah. But I'm happy because I'm going to probably get to see Okada wrestle in Vegas. I'll get to see Ospreay wrestle. I've never seen either of those guys wrestle live, so
really?
That should be fun. Yeah. They pump up Big Business again in Boston, and highlights of Ospreay and Takeshita air from Sunday, so that was good. That'll sell some replays. And we get to Kris Statlander and Riho. Now, I gotta say, most of the time these women's matches, they show up in about this spot on the show, and the crowd is just not into them at all. These women went out there and they were just working at a fast pace, and the crowd was into it right away. I don't know why Riho isn't on TV every week, because the crowd gets into her every single time, and she actually often moves ratings. But I thought they had a really good match. Statlander, at times, the crowd was starting to turn on her. At one point, she gave her 3 clotheslines in a row, and the crowd looked like they were going to boo. And then she picked her up for a power bomb, but Riho ran it out of it and hit a 619. She goes to the top body, does a cross body, or top rope, but does a cross body, and Statlander rolled through. Went for a power bomb, but Riho hit a dragon suplex for 2. That was a great near fall. Riho went for a running knee, but Statlander ducked out. Then she power bombed her for a near fall. This is where Stokely passed Statlander a chain, and then he distracted the ref, and Statlander was contemplating the chain. She picked it up. The crowd was like, no. And then she throws it out of the ring, and Riho rolled her up, and Statlander gave her a German and then another one, and then she went for a third, but Riho rolled her up and pinned her. And she got the pin, and Taz was saying she should have used the chain. Stokely looked pissed off. Statlander's yelling at Stokely, "It's your fault." And yeah, so this was, I mean, they told a story. I thought they had a good match. I had no problems with this segment at all. I don't know how you felt.
I liked the match, and I was trying to figure out why they were doing this now. You're trying to figure out why. I mean, look, our AEW, much more than anything else, is more of a match generator type of thing, where they'll put 2 people in a match just for the heck of it. But it seems to me this is the control group. This is, okay, Statlander faces Riho. She has a chance to cheat. She doesn't, and she loses. Willow's going to have the same chance next week. She's going to cheat, and she's going to beat Riho. That's what I think is going to happen here.
Or Riho's going to win, and she's going to get the title shot, and then there's going to be more problems with, the
but that doesn't solve anything then, because
but I've been saying all along. I've been saying all along that Willow's turning on her. So
now the only question I had watching this, well, I had 2. 1, where's Yuka Sakazaki? And 2,
where's Emi Sakura?
Yeah, well, she's in Japan doing things, I think.
Is she?
No, I think she might have moved here. Never mind. But anyways, the question is the Mercedes debut. Now, remember, Mercedes' last match was against Willow before she was injured. Do they turn Willow here, and then Mercedes makes the save for Riho to set that up?
That's possible. I mean,
is that a good debut? That's my question. Is the surprise thing as opposed to like a big introduction or something to that effect?
Well, the problem here is if they do it that way, this is Tony Khan assuming that the whole world knows that Mercedes beat or lost to Willow in that match in New Japan in May that 150 people watched. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot more than that, but
they showed clips of it on TV, I believe.
They did, but nobody remembers that.
I agree.
They actually, I don't think they did show clips of that on TV.
They showed clips of Willow with the title, I think.
They didn't show Mercedes at all.
Right.
But it did air on Access in America. So, a lot of people saw it, but nobody remembers it. Unless they remind us, and they will remind us, I'm sure. I think that's going to be Mercedes' first match, probably in AEW, will be against Willow, would be my guess, and it could be for the TBS title. If Willow beats Julia, they could do that. They did. Twan claims they showed Mercedes on AEW TV. I don't recall that, but I forget a lot of things.
I think they did. I recall it was like in clips, but yeah, because I think they had permission from New Japan to show her.
Okay, so I do remember them talking about Julia and thinking Julia Hart wrestled in Stardom. Twan thinks it's gonna be Mercedes versus Deeb. I'll take that bet because I think it's gonna be Mercedes.
I mean that's not really
that match's gonna happen. Don't get me wrong.
I don't see. I think it's gonna be Deeb and Julia Hart on for that open challenge on Saturday or whatever it is. But
no, they announced it.
Oh, they did. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But no, here's what I think.
Rampagiest to rampage things.
Okay. then I think I know who it is.
No, you don't. You think it's Queen Aminata and it's not.
Okay, no, I didn't think it was Queen Aminata, but okay. Let me get to my point. Sorry. Okay, so actually what Twan is speaking about is something different. If they introduce Mercedes into a match and then Mercedes makes the save afterwards, during the Riho match, they have 2 women's matches. Good God, on a Dynamite. Okay, that makes sense. I can deal with that. I was just asking, do you put her in a match first? Do you introduce her first, or do you do something like this Okada thing, like random run-in where it's like, okay,
you gotta introduce her. Like I really do. I do. And this match is happening next week, I think. So yeah, maybe my plan is not going to happen, but. So I enjoyed that anyways. They showed highlights from Revolution and Tony and Deanna this time. And Renee was with Tony and her crew. And she says, under dubious circumstances, you retained your title. And Mariah May was dressed up like Tony's old character again. So she was dressed up like that on Saturday. And I remember somebody in the chat made a comment. I wonder what Paul missed by fast forwarding things. And one of the things I missed, maybe the only thing, was and this got me in trouble in our Discord, was Mariah May dressed up as Tony Storm for the entrance. I completely missed that. So I did see her at ringside later on with the backwards hat, but I didn't realize, that had been a whole thing during the entrance. So I thought it was like, oh man, she looks a little like Tony, but I didn't realize what was going on there. But anyways, here it was blatantly obvious. And then Tony asked Renee what season it is. And Renee's like, well, it's almost spring. And Tony says, no, it's award season. True. So on Saturday, I'm going to be presenting the first ever Tony Award, but it's with an I, so we don't get sued. And she said as well, I've got a shirt for you, and it's your first ever shirt. And she says it's the exact same as me, so I get a cut. And Mariah's all happy, and they go off. And yeah, it was a wacky segment, but it was pretty good on the Tony Storm scale, I thought. It was
chin
fun.
Up, tits out, watch for the
Yeah,
shoe.
she did the chin up, tits out thing, yeah. And Mariah kind of no-sold that, unfortunately. And that was that. And it was in black and white, too, in case you wondered.
Mariah May has wrestled once, correct?
No, she's wrestled a bunch of times.
Oh, has she? Okay.
Maybe only once on Dynamite, but I think she's like 5-0.
Oh.
She wrestled on Collision, I think, actually.
I've been missing a lot of Collision lately.
Every time she wrestles, her opponent looks better than she does. Although the last one, she actually had a couple, like, her problem is she freaking poses after every single move.
It's very sports entertainment.
Nuts. Yes, it is. But I think she's actually pretty good, and she's got way better. Like, she's got better personality than just about anybody in this company, let alone.
I don't disagree. The RJ City thing with Hey EW is she's something on that.
I'm never watching that.
You should.
I won't. I don't like RJ City.
I know.
So we go to commercial, we come back, and it's Renee with Stokely and Willow. And she asks Stokely what went wrong. And Stokely says Statlander wanted to do things her way. She's my favorite, but I wish she'd accept help from those who love her the most. And then Renee says, next week at Big Business, you're going to be going one-on-one with Riho. And then Willow says, next week we do things my way. Riho, I know I can beat her. I want to be a champion just like you were. And at Revolution, we beat Sky and Julia. And Julia, I got my sights set on you. I'm going to become the face of TBS, but I got to get through Riho first. So that match is set for next week.
And there was definite concern on Willow's face about having to face Riho, so I liked that.
Yeah, and you really got the sense she's probably. I mean, they're going to do
there's
the
some moral ambiguity going on in the head of Willow Nightingale.
Yep, there is. Tony Schiavone's in the ring. He says next week it's going to be Darby and Jay White, and he calls out Darby. So Darby says, "This is going to be easy, Tony. 5 years ago, I was homeless. Sunday, I was main eventing one of AEW's best pay-per-views of all time. Said I'd stop at nothing to make sure Sting's career ended with the respect it deserved, and I feel like I did just that. I'm lacerated, I'm beat up, and I'm tired. And next week at Big Business, I got a match with Jay White, and then on March 27th, I'm going to climb Mount Everest." And he says, "This is me talking from the heart, Tony," and he's practically in tears. He says, "This is no guarantee I'm going to come back alive for Mount Everest. And I just want to take this time to say thank you to each and every fan and to AEW for giving me this dream. If next week is my last ever match, I'm going to do what I always do. Go out fighting for my life. And as for this tag team championship, everyone asked me, why not keep defending it with someone else?" He says, "I can't replace the icon Sting. Next team that wins this, congratulations." And he lays the belt down in the middle of the ring. That was beautiful. I kind of wish they would have just ended the segment there, but they didn't. And
I wish they had to. I do have to say this, though.
Okay.
People who get money that aren't used to having money spend it on a lot of dumb things. There are people who train for years to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
They go to cold. They climb smaller mountains, for example, to practice. They practice oxygen deprivation places. They in high altitudes and whatnot. They practice what to do in case of an emergency. This process generally takes months, if not years.
Yeah.
Darby Allin?
Well, he was there for 2 months.
2 weeks ago. Oh, wow.
And
mountain climber Darby Allin, who has a bunch of maladies that have not yet healed. So he is going on this trip already wounded.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to ask that question because it's too morbid.
Well, I will say 2% of people that attempt to climb Mount Everest die during the climb.
Would you be? No, let's no.
Darby said it.
I know. Darby's probably going to have but Darby has a lot of money, so he'll probably have a team of professionals and Sherpas around him.
Put it this way. Okay, whether anything happens to Darby or not,
we don't want anything to happen.
No, we definitely don't want anything to happen to Darby. There's a decent chance next Monday's his final match.
Yes, because if he does climb Everest?
Yeah, what's he going to do next?
Oh, now I want to go to the moon for his adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I want to go to the moon.
I want to go to space. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So out comes Jay White.
He's literally going to be Icarus flying to the sun.
So you mentioned earlier that Jay White's a babyface.
Kind of.
And so Jay White comes out here and he says, "I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt this cute little sob story about being homeless." But he says, "You're so elusive and weird. I didn't know if I'd get the chance to talk to you again. So I had to come out here in Atlanta." And he emphasized the Atlanta. He did a promo on the pre-show. I don't know if you saw it on Sunday, where he said Greensboro about 15 times.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
he's doing the cheap pop gimmick, but over and over again until people start to boo him for it.
Yeah. So he says, "Congratulations to an amazing night at Revolution." And he says, "See ya, Tony." Kicks him out of the ring. Sorry, my neck is bogging over here. He said, "You showed the world that you'd do anything. You showed them you'd sacrifice yourself as champion. Give it up for Sting." Yeah. He says, "You were to risk it all when you jumped off that ladder, but if you ask me, it was kind of stupid." He said, "You went crashing through that glass all by yourself. That left Sting all by himself, 2-on-1 against the Bucks. But luckily, old Sting prevailed. He had that heartwarming send-off to his career. You were there by his side." And he said, "I didn't see it, but between you, me, and Atlanta, I don't really care." He says, "But you know what I do care about? Sting is gone and you're all alone. And what is Darby Allin without Sting? He says, I think you're a lost little puppy. You got no one to feed you, do tricks, or clean up after you. And he says, and on next week, you got a match with Switchblade Jay White, and that's why I'm out here. He says, we don't need to have this match. So just like you didn't have to jump off this ladder, you didn't have to get in the ring with me either. No one would think any less of you after what you've been through physically, mentally, and emotionally. Remember, if you do decide to get in the ring with me, there's a lot that can happen. He says, I got a better idea. How about we preserve Darby? Instead of a match, why don't you come to the back and hang out with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang? And he says, we even got a nickname for you. You want to hear his nickname, Atlanta? Darby Scissorhands. So throw up those scissors and scissor Big Daddy ass. It's just ridiculous. He is a total heel.
Yeah, he's a total heel.
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts about this one. I try to get this kink out of my neck.
Boy, I hate that Jay White has settled with this team of geeks.
Yeah.
Like if they had toughened up the guns a bit after turning on their dad.
Well, they kind of did for a little while.
Well, I mean, to be badasses instead of kind of goofballs. And look, and then Juice is kind of the goofy one of the group, but you know, he's kind of crazy too. It'd be an awesome well, no. He's not a babyface to me, but I mean, he's a babyface in there, but he's acting like a heel in a babyface group. I get this. I get the story. I get what he's doing. Okay, I'm not totally completely out to lunch here. So
with all due respect, Twan.
Yeah. He came out of the baby. He's a babyface in name only. He's a bino.
Yeah. Cody used to come out of the middle.
They are really making an effort to let Jay White get over on the mic.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's happening.
I think the fans want to cheer him.
But it's one of those things where all of his promos are Eddie Haskell-esque.
Yeah.
He's never genuine. And that's a problem in a promo occasion. I mean, you can play that character for a while, but eventually you have to get real a little bit there and menacing. And he doesn't quite get there. He's still kind of playing playful, even when he's being evil.
You say Eddie Haskell, I say Derek Taylor, but same thing.
That's fine. I was raised on TBS. They had Leave It to Beaver on all the time. Give me a break.
Fair enough.
But you know, I think Jay White would probably be better off as a solo star than as a part of any other group. I know
the problem is everybody
he's a jerk heel who he's a kind of guy who you can't have friends with unless you're crazy, and that's why maybe Juice should be his only friend. But I get that they're doing the New Japan stable thing. Yeah.
Although, I mean, this Bang Bang Scissor Gang thing is dead.
No, Twan hits it right that I didn't say right there. He's doing a bad job of being sarcastic.
Yeah, because I don't think people are picking up on it.
Right.
They hear their city.
Hey,
and they cheer.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you almost wanted to say I was being sarcastic.
So Darby hits the nail on the head. He's like, "Are you done, Jay White?" And he said, "Let's get this right. Let's get this straight. You main evented Tokyo Dome twice. You came to AEW and you did what? You're playing with cardboard cutouts. I don't believe the hype. We have this fight next week, and if you're as good as you think you are, you'll come alone." And then he stopped and he whispered something in his ear, and whatever he said rattled Jay. And he held the bat against his chin, and at this point the guns are in there as well. And Darby is like, "I've played all three of you. I don't care." And he says, "I'll see you at Big Business, baby." I think did he say baby? That's what I wrote down.
He might have. I liked Darby here though.
Darby
was here just dressing him down a bit.
He's Sting.
I was trying to think of what he whispered to Jay because I wanted Jay to stay rattled instead of kind of playing it off. Like Darby just whispered, "I'm gonna bite your testicles off." Wait, what was that? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know what he said, but whatever it did, Jay White, like his demeanor changed
for a second, and then he recomposed himself.
But then even when he left, he kept looking back at Darby.
Yeah,
like maybe it was something like, "You saw what I did to myself. What do you think I'm going to do to you?" But I mean, he could have just said that on the mic. So I don't know. All right, we go to the back with Sky Blue and Julia Hart, and then Sky said the worst feeling in the world is to be forgotten. Or no, it was Julia said, yeah. The worst feeling in the world is to be forgotten, and you've forgotten who I am, the princess of the Black Throne, keeper of secrets. On Friday, I'm issuing an open house challenge. Blah, blah, blah. That was fine.
Lore, but it was a good promo for Julia Hart.
It was good. But then we go to commercial. We come back.
And we get the House of Black.
House of Black promo, and Julia's in there as well.
Well, she went from one room to the next room.
I think Sky just left, and the guys joined her. And Buddy Matthews, I had to rewind this 3 times to figure out who he was talking to, because he's got that accent. And so he was talking to Mark Briscoe. And he says, Mark, you entered yourself into this situation, and we're going to eradicate you from it. We'll fight fire with fire. So if you didn't see Collision, Mark Briscoe was playing with the pyro machine, and he almost lit those guys on fire. So he said, seriously, Mark, we're going to set you ablaze. And Brody says, the history between me and the Briscoes has given me scars I won't forget. Saturday at Collision, history is going to repeat itself. And then Malachi Black says, we'll make sure this pain is surpassed by the pain we inflict on your body. And Brody says, let us know if we need 1 grave or 3. And then Julia Hart sang Ring of Fire. Do I got that?
Yes. Yeah. This was. This didn't sound. Yes, I know. This didn't sound. This didn't sound real though. That's the thing.
Oh no, no.
Like, I want them threatening to burn him alive instead of saying
this was straight out of the Malachi Black comic book.
This is Malachi Black lore comic book stuff. So yeah. And then we get Mark Briscoe's awesome.
This is the stuff Vince wouldn't let him do.
Yeah.
Then we go to Remarkable Renee with Mark Briscoe.
I shall bathe in the shining flame of the embers of your body as I burn them upon the fire of my feelings. Yeah. Okay.
He says, I'm supposed to be scared now. He says, I walk through fire. I dance with the devil. I did the Tennessee 2-step with that bitch. Let's do it.
Love it.
Atlanta street fight. Anything goes. I don't even need anybody. And who should show up but Jay Lethal?
Yes.
And he says, I think it's time I manned up and helped my friend of over 20 years. And he says, plus I love you and I got your back. And Mark says, fine, but don't bring that Jeff Jarrett with you. And then Jay Lethal says, it's an Atlanta street fight. Who better to have on your side than a grimy old bastard like Jeff Jarrett? Don't trust him. Trust me. He's right. So yeah, this was odd because man, on I think it was on the pre-show.
Yes,
for
the greatest Fargo strut ever.
Willie Mack teamed
yes,
with Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Private Party.
Yeah,
and Stoutland Singh. Yeah, that was something else. Willie Mack.
And all of them did because Private Party's doing this. We're auditioning somebody to be our third guy.
Yeah,
and so Willie Mack was the fill in this.
But now Lethal and Jarrett are baby faces. So
no. What's going to happen is they're just going to. You remember the story they should have told before?
Oh yeah,
they're going to tell it again. They're just recircling back, and Lethal and Jarrett's going to turn on Mark, and then Lethal's going to have a choice to make.
Well, because I was wondering why Jarrett and Lethal all of a sudden are all happy and teaming when they did about a month of skits on Rampage where these guys were having problems.
Yeah.
And then they dropped it.
Yes.
And now I guess they're probably going to go back to it.
Oh, yes.
So Justin Roberts is in the ring and
we don't have anybody doing continuity in AEW. Come on.
Will Washington, we're looking at you. So Justin Roberts in the ring, he does his main event intros and it's Will Ospreay against Kyle Fletcher. So stablemates fighting each other.
Yes.
Don Callis, of course, is on commentary. Somebody pointed out to me that Ospreay came out of the babyface tunnel and Fletcher from the heel. I don't care. This match as well is brought to us by Woo Energy, and Excalibur questioned Callis on sending Ospreay back out there again. Said he was barely medical cleared, and Callis said, "Wrestlers wrestle." And Taz says, "You run till the gas tank is empty, healthy schmelthy." And Callis says, "The real winner here is the Callis family." And Ospreay and Fletcher are all smiling at each other, and they pointed out that Fletcher wasn't going for the neck. So before the break, they just they were just doing stuff. Not much was going on. They did the Rampage lineup here. So it's Julia Hart and Robin Renegade.
Of course.
Action Andretti against Penta.
Yeah. That's
Private Party
Rampage.
Private Party versus Top Flight versus Commander and Brian Keith.
God.
And the rampagiest of Rampage. Because you remember Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta were going to team up.
Yes.
And guess who they're facing? Kip Sabian and the Butcher.
God, that's the most.
This is like I don't know how they do it. They have the exact same.
I am convinced they do the same Rampage every week, and we just don't.
Except
know
it's not. Believe it or not. So the match kicked in after this, and they start trading chops. And Callis says, "Thank you, Tony Khan, for putting this match together." Ospreay put his hands behind his back, waiting for a chop, and instead Fletcher super kicked him. Crowd booed that, and Fletcher's chest, I pointed out, was beat red from the chops from earlier. Ospreay went for an Os cutter. Fletcher caught him. Went for a Rana, turned it into a DDT. Crowd went nuts. He misses a hidden blade. Fletcher gave him snake eyes in the middle turnbuckle. Fans are chanting, "This is awesome." Both guys were slow to get up. Fletcher went for a pile driver on the apron. Ospreay hit an Os cutter on the apron. They both go out of the ring. They went to another commercial break with 3 minutes left in the show. So I got to warn people, if this match loses viewers, it's not because Ospreay's not a draw. It's because they did 2 commercial breaks in the last 15 minutes, and that is a ratings killer. So just keep that in mind when the ratings come out tomorrow. They come back from break. Fletcher's punching Ospreay. Ospreay hit an enziguri out of nowhere. Ospreay went for an ox cutter, but Fletcher intercepted with a kick. They reversed tombstones. Fletcher went for another snake eyes, but Ospreay hit a poison Rana. He went to the top. Fletcher shoved him off. Fletcher went for a dragon suplex, but Ospreay landed on his feet, and like Fletcher had like what the like face on him. He looked like he saw a ghost. Ospreay hit a Liger bomb for a great near fall. He hit some super kicks. He went for a Stormbreaker. Fletcher reversed it. Fletcher hit a shoulder breaker with a near fall. Fletcher hit a power bomb, but only got 2. Great near fall. There were AEW chants everywhere. Here we got a collision lineup. So very quickly, Chris Jericho against Titan. Mariah May is in action. The debut of the Elite, Bucks and Okada. Bryan Danielson and Shane Taylor. And House of Black against Briscoe, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett in an Atlanta street fight. Back to the match. Fletcher went for a move off the ropes, but Ospreay hit a reverse kick. Ospreay hit a poison Rana off the top. He had a back elbow, which was basically almost like a reverse hidden blade. Fletcher had almost nothing left. Ospreay kicked him in the head. Callis said he might have to stop this. Crowd is chanting. They're singing the Ospreay song. Fletcher got to his feet, hit Ospreay with punches. They reversed powerbomb spots like the tombstone pile driver. Fletcher hit a thrust kick. Ospreay hit a Spanish fly for 2. He hit an Os cutter. Fletcher kicked out. Ospreay was about to go for the hidden blade, and then Fletcher just said, "Bring it on." And Ospreay hit it, and he got the pin. And this match was freaking incredible. Somebody in the chat earlier asked if this was the best TV match, a TV match of the year 90s candidate. Oh yeah, well, so this match of the year candidate by Shadow Z, I'd say yeah for sure. The only one I can think of that might have been better was that 1 hour almost draw, Jay Lethal and Juice Robinson against FTR last year. That was great. Matt asked, was this an American match in the entire 90s that was as good as the Ospreay match tonight? I mean,
2 out of 3 falls. Ray versus Psychosis in ECW, I think was better.
I think this was better, but I mean, I like Ospreay a lot.
There's a lot of matches in the 90s I really liked, so you can't.
Well, wasn't it? Oh no, it was the 80s that had that Fantastics one that everyone raised about, right?
Yeah,
the 1 hour one. But I mean, wrestling's evolved so much that I just think it's so much better now. And like, put it this way, I'm never gonna rewatch that 57-minute match from last year. And I don't rewatch matches in general, but if I was gonna, it'd be this one. Like, I love this match, but I will also say, if you haven't seen it, that Ospreay Josh Alexander match from Impact was also on television, and it was as good as this.
Okay, so, we watch wrestling different though, so I'm not trying to be contrarian here.
I know what you're gonna say. So
no, you're not. No, you're not. I don't think so. You might. No, you might. I liked the match. It means nothing. Because they didn't tell us. This is something that needed a story throughout the show. Really, between Fletcher and Ospreay and setting it up. Maybe Takeshita's a little bit sore about what happened Sunday, so he's in Fletcher's ear whispering something. Why they were being so intense with each other was explained away with a throwaway line on kind of, well, you know, brothers always fight a little harder against each other. Blah blah blah. That's crap. This is wrestling. Tell me a story. If we're setting up Ospreay to split off from these guys, then we should be showing some of that.
And they didn't. They didn't even.
Yeah. Is there any internal conflict between either of these two guys that they're fighting one of their friends and stablemate that Fletcher and Ospreay have been together with for why? What is the point? What is What is Callis hoping to get out of this? These are questions that need to be answered, and they're not, because we're all kind of we're watching this match and it's great, and they're kicking out of big moves, and we're distracted.
Yeah,
but it's a great match, but it's also kind of poor television wrestling type of thing in a way.
That stuff is catnip to me. I'll just tell you. Like, so
I get it.
Part of it.
I get it. There are people who are work rate people who have grown up in the indies. This is fan service for them. I get this.
Yeah,
I do. I am thinking of bigger wrestling picture here. It is a great television main event, but it was a relatively heatless match. They were doing big moves on each other.
I mean, when you say heatless, I mean this crowd went nuts.
But no, the crowd went nuts. I meant amongst the wrestlers against each other.
Oh,
okay. Like there was no point where Fletcher got so mad at Will for hitting a big move on him that he started getting a little bit more intense in his offense.
This was kind of like the Adam Cole NXT main event.
Yes.
That they would have. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I love those too. So
no, and if you like that style of wrestling, that's great.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like the intensity between Ospreay and Fletcher never got intense in terms of now they're starting to hate each other, and now they're really trying to.
Well, no, and I think the thing is, like, this is the challenge. Like with Will Ospreay, he's gonna go out and have one of these matches like every time we see him.
Yes.
And what I wonder is, and our good friend, I don't know if am I blowing kayfabe if I mention something that was said in a DM?
I don't know what was said, so I can't tell you.
Well, you saw it.
No, I didn't.
I think. Oh, okay. Well, what did he say?
Oh, is this Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can say that.
So he thinks that Will's going to elevate the company.
No.
Well, no, and that's what I said too. But I mean, and I said, like, I mean, it's not like there's no chance it's going to happen. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
I'm saying that good matches aren't enough.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and the thing is, there is a segment of fans that, oh man, Will Ospreay's wrestling, I'm watching. Like, no matter what. But we had Kenny Omega. We had Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
We've had all these guys that have great matches. And honestly, I will say Bryan Danielson's probably better at TV matches than Will Ospreay is right now. That's not to say Will Ospreay won't become better. There were little things I saw in Will Ospreay here that were different than what I've seen in past Will Ospreay matches. I think that he is working for a TV audience as opposed to a live audience, which is good.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't think he can do this pace like every week or even once or twice a month. Like,
yeah, you can't have a Dominion match every couple weeks.
No, and this was like, I mean, this would have won match of the year. Like, Dave always mentioned, but I mean, it's a cliche because it's true. Like 19 out of the last 20 years, like maybe not the last 3 years, but you know what I mean? Like from like 1995 to 2015, this would have won match of the year every single year. Like if this match had happened. So I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, and okay, great, but I mean, and Matthew's point, he was more than great matches. I voted for him as promo of the year.
I did as well, but
let's have some promos going into this match then.
And not only that, Will's promos that he cut in New Japan are not going to work on American television.
No, they're not. They are not American promos.
I say this as a fan of Will Ospreay.
Yes.
Like he cannot do those promos on American television. He can't.
No, like, they're no. It's American audiences need a certain kind of promo.
Well, it's not just that he cusses like
he cusses like the wind too. Yeah,
yeah.
But
so
no, again, I agree that this is fan service. It's a far more elevated version of your debut match on free TV is a great match for 50-50 type of a thing. Far more. Look, if this was great, this was high level stuff. Yeah. I am not denying that at all.
And there's another issue here too, is that, it's Will Ospreay who's wrestling his, debut on the AEW roster. I mean, people have seen him before, but
yes,
this was his debut against Kyle Fletcher, who is never on TV.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher has not been built.
There's a large segment of the audience that probably, I mean, they would have loved the spectacle if they stuck around for it, but they may not have. You know what I mean? Like there were 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a ton going on before the first one. So they may have just, I don't know these guys. And,
I mean, we could have played this into the story we were telling with Fletcher before when he was trying to get into the Callis family type of thing. And he was kind of, trying to show I want to show Don Callis something. I mean, that's
Yes.
all they needed was like a little vignette where Don Callis is like, "Are you ready for your big match against Will Ospreay?" He goes, "I'm going to show both of you what I'm made of out there."
But then,
and
look,
then
so this is where I don't like. I think we're in the middle of a storyline here because you talked about no story. I think, like, obviously, I say obviously, I'm almost positive the next match for Ospreay is going to be Will Hobbs.
Okay.
You know, if you're following along, and we're going to have a similar. I mean, it'll be a completely different match, you know, because Will works a different match with big guys. You know, so will take 95% of that match, and Ospreay's going to come back at the end, and he's going to hit all his moves and win. And then what happens? Like, he just beat everybody in his stable.
You're telling the perfect story if Don Callis is going to break off Will Ospreay from the family and go with Will Ospreay.
Exactly, but that's not what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, unless Ospreay kicks out Don Callis, I mean,
it makes it the Will Ospreay family.
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, no. See, they're turning Will babyface here. That's not going to be a babyface group.
And see, here's the other thing. I think Will is a better heel.
I kind of agree.
But these fans don't want to boo him. So, you know, and I think Will's going to go in. I mean, I think, you know, money says Will's going to go into Wembley and win the world title.
We're telling a 1-year story in 3 weeks is what we're doing here, really.
Well, kind of, unless they're just trying to wrap up this story so you can get to the real story.
No, that's what this is we need to heat up Will because Kenny hasn't come back yet. Let's get him into the Kenny spot by having him just run through the entire Callis family.
And we don't know when Kenny's coming back because that was another thing that Tony Khan said this week. Somebody brought up Winnipeg, and he's like, that's not happening. So, I mean, he may appear in Winnipeg, which is May 1st, but he's not going to be there. I didn't mention that the match was over, and whose music should hit but Bryan Danielson. Yes. And fans kind of went nuts at the idea of Danielson and Ospreay, and Danielson walks out, and I was waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened.
These endings, they look at each other, and then no, it's the anticipation of a. Okay,
it almost sounded like they were going to commercial because he said, "Oh, we'll stick with this, and we'll hear what happens." And then all of a sudden, the next show's starting, and I'm like, "Okay, what did I miss?" I was a
little disappointed in that.
Yeah, but lame. I mean, so clearly that's the direction. So
yes.
I mean, you know what? I mean, it's the funny thing is Danielson is a heel that everyone loves.
And Will Ospreay is a heel that's acting like a baby face and everyone loves. Yeah.
So I don't know, you know, like and they're going to have this match, and doesn't this lead to Kenny team with Will? It could. Or, I mean, ideally, if Kenny was coming back soon, I mean, it would be, you know, exactly what it was before. Kenny on the babyface side against Will on the heel side.
Or Kenny's been fired from the Elite, so maybe he joins the Callis family now.
Oh, God. No, he's a total babyface.
You were right this entire time. I was at home thinking, Don.
No, I don't think Kenny's
that's such a WWE move.
Trying to figure out how Jericho's going to worm his way into this one.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. The clap vampire needs to come.
Yeah. So that was Dynamite. I thought it was a really good show.
It was fun.
It was fun. You know what?
Don't get my nitpicking wrong, because it's just one of those things where it's like, in terms of wrestling, there are certain things that get me off. So it's like, you know, I like promos, I like angles, I like heat, I like build, and I love this match.
You're not going to get a lot of that.
I won't remember this match in 6 months. That's my problem, because there wasn't, you know, there wasn't the build to it, and I always remember things through the build, and other people just remember the match.
The problem is that you're probably going to see like 15 more of these.
12 more of these. Like,
and that's not a complaint. I mean, they're all going to be awesome, but at the end of the year, unless you're like me and have a spreadsheet, you're not going to be able to tell which one was better. Or, you know, or anything like, and even then, like, I'm thinking right now, like, okay, I gave this match, I'll say right now, I gave it 5.5 stars. and I gave Josh Alexander and Will Ospreay 5 3/4 stars. So I assume that match was better, but I don't remember the Alexander match. Jeff is, for those of you on audio, Jeff is disgusted with me right now.
5 is a perfect match.
Yes.
Stop it with the AP wrestling grade inflation.
This is better than perfect. Oh God. Will Jericho and Kenny versus 3 members of the Callis family. Please. No. Matt likes it. So boo Jeff.
Yes. No. So at the end of the year, you and your pretentious friends can get together.
But this is how I can determine if, okay, let's say we cap it at 5 stars, right?
Yes.
So all the matches that have 5 stars or better are all going to be 5. This is the way that I can differentiate between the 5-star matches.
No, that's fine. I just I'll try and remember this match in December.
Well,
I don't keep a spreadsheet. Because you'll have a spreadsheet. I know.
Yeah, this is why everybody voted for whatever happened on December 30th as the match of the year.
Look, you can't trust the electorate ever.
No. I voted in the Voices of Wrestling poll, and I had 8 of my top 10 matches were Will Ospreay matches. I really like Will Ospreay a lot. So, you know what? If you like the Dynamite show, if you listen to this, and now that Will Ospreay is a part of All Elite Wrestling, be prepared for me to be happy on these post shows, because I really like Will Ospreay. And I think this is going to be a good year.
I had somebody accuse me of not liking Shane Strickland. I go, dude, I named him in my match of the year like 5 or 6 years ago.
Who's Shane? Oh, Swerve. Okay.
Swerve, yeah. It was him and Sammy against the South Pacific Power Trip at a Progress show I saw. Or an Evolve show. That was a phenomenal tag match.
I've liked him for a long time. I didn't like that thing he did, like kill shot or whatever. That Gods of War match or whatever they had in Lucha Underground. Yeah, but I really liked him in Major League Wrestling. I thought he was great there. And
why not a 30? Why not a 32-star scale?
I don't know.
And then we can.
Then I'm gonna give him 34.5. No, I really like this match, man.
No, that's great. It does kind of drive me nuts. It's like everybody's like saying, "Well, it's better than 5. It's better than 5." And then there are matches that never made 5 stars that should have made 5
because
stars.
Because at some point in this match, it hit 5 stars, and then they kept going.
Yeah,
and sometimes when you keep going, it makes it worse. That didn't happen here. It kept going, and it made it better and better and better. And I was just like, I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, yeah, come on, And then when it was over, it ended at the perfect time. Like the ending was perfect, even though there was like 5 moves before that could have ended it, and I would have been happy. The move they ended on was perfect.
Paul, you don't need to justify yourself to me. All right. You're fine.
Normally I write down all those notes, and I wrote down a lot of stuff. I had to say everything because I love Will Ospreay. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a big United Empire.
I'm this way about FTR, so I mean, you can get on me about it.
Awesome God.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change that to Awesome Ospreay. All right, Jeff, we went way over time.
Paul has given up his religion to.
I have to keep Will this. Ospreay. We have a lot of people watching, so
okay. No, yeah. I hope they were entertained, and I hope they're not too mad at me for saying what I said. You can follow me on the Twitters at CrapGame13, arcane references, bad jokes, Virginia basketball. I do a show called Shake Them Ropes over on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino, who doesn't follow anything on Twitter, so it makes for interesting conversation because he is not in the bubble anymore, and he doesn't listen to criticism. He just watches wrestling. He tells me what he thinks. So we'll go over that, and we'll have some ice cold thoughts on Revolution and whatnot over there. If you like old audio, I did the pre-show with the Power Bombshells on Sunday morning. Mel and I talked a lot of Sting and Ole Anderson, and then I did the post show with Garrett, Kevin Ely, and Jeremy Finestone, as mentioned earlier.
I don't got much to plug. I got this show, and that's it. So,
I'm all you got, baby.
I love it, but I'm open to invitations. So if anybody wants me to come on their podcast and brag about and gush over Will Ospreay, hit me up. Paul Ace Fontaine on Twitter. Or you can join the Fight Game Media Discord. If you're not in there, just send Garrett an email, gg@fightgamemedia.com, and we'll get you in that Discord. It's hopping. Someone posted a bunch of porn links in there today. Garrett was busy deleting them all. So for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show. Later.